Hello, I am here today with Tina Thompson, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, WNBA legend, obviously winning 4 consecutive championships with the Houston Comets. Tina, thank you for being here with us today.
You're welcome. I'm excited. I'm really glad to be here. I enjoyed the game so much, but I'm probably going to enjoy this a little more.
Well, you know what? Let's talk about the landscape of the W right now, and then we're going to dive into the era that you basically dominated. But what are you seeing with the WNBA today?
I'm seeing support.
Yes.
And I think that is amazing. The product that the women are putting out right now is elite, and there's a lot of pressure, when this level of attention is now being put on you, and they're rising to the occasion every opportunity that they can. I love how they're showing up, like how I am. So I love that they are pretty and they are fashionable and they show up empowered and ready to work, but they're doing it as their best selves. Like, that makes me feel good.
1997, Houston Comets, you guys just dominate. 4 consecutive world championships.
Yeah.
Let's take people back in time. The attendance. There were people that were supporting the W. You guys were selling out. Let's just talk.
Like this.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of nostalgic in a sense when I walked in here, and I haven't been to a WNBA game in a long time. A part of it is because I have a teenage son. He's headed to college, and we're so busy, and like AAU life, because you were once in that space, is serious business. I could have probably done a better job of making time to get here, but to then come to my first game in a really long time and have this experience, I was like, wow, I know what this feeling is like. And I just love the fact that 2 teams,
right?
You guys get it all the time, but every team that comes into this building gets to experience that too. And we were very blessed to have that,
Yes.
Winning had a lot to do with that. But the fact that the city of Houston showed up the way that they did for us on a consistent basis, I'm using this word a lot, but it was very empowering.
Right.
Because you knew you had them behind you in the toughest moments. And for sure, back then, we were all kind of fighting for our lives because we didn't know what the future was going to be like. So there was pressure to put on a great product because you wanted people to come back.
Right. Well, you got a chance to witness 2 great coaches who obviously played in the W. 2 of your favorites, 2 of my favorites too. But how important is it for us to see Spoon and a Becky Hammond on the sidelines, who obviously have been an integral part of why the WNBA has been so successful. But talk about seeing them on the sideline.
It's great. Well, there's a reality to this kind of coaching thing, is that just because you're a great player doesn't mean that you're going to be a great coach, And it takes a lot to kind of be in that position to navigate in a way that you can't have a direct impact. Teresa and Becky were both amazing, elite WNBA players. So now you have to use your voice to win versus your physical attributes and your skill set. It's a different mindset, and you have to have a pretty special ability to kind of remove yourself in that way, meet your players where they are, but then grasp all the goodness that they have to offer in a way that keeps them happy, And when you're talking about the 2 teams that they coach, they both have some really good players. There's a whole lot of managing, not just talent and skill set, but also personalities. So to see them both having success, I'm really happy for them. And I'm happy for the WNBA that they get to continue to have those 2 treasures.
Well, a lot of success is also centered around all of these great college players that are coming into the league. I mean, obviously Angel Reese, you got Caitlin Clark, you've got Rakia Jackson, you've got Cameron Brink. But I saw where you were basically pouring into Juju Watkins, who is what we call, and as you know in the coaching world, you call her a generational player.
100%.
And then obviously being at SC, my husband was at SC too, so Fight On Trojans.
What?
Yes.
I did not
yes,
know that.
He was. Yes,
Tell
he was.
Mr. Fargas to fight on.
But tell me about that interaction between you and Juju.
Well, it started, Juju's older cousin is like my childhood friend.
Okay.
Like literally we've known each other since like 8 or 9 years old. And we grew up at the park together. So I think Tracy is maybe a year or two older than I am. And, we just had kind of a lifelong relationship and friendship because we grew up together and kind of grew up in the same neighborhood in the same park. And being from Los Angeles, of course, like I heard about Juju, but Tracy is the one who made the direct connection. And he just called me one day and he's like, I have a little cousin that's playing basketball. And, like, where we come from, the mentality like of our neighborhood and how we love, respect, and approach the game. He's like, I just need you to pour into her, like talk to her, be there if she needs someone to talk to. And I was like, sure, of course. At the time, I didn't even know it was Juju.
Right.
And then he told me it was Juju, and I was like, easy call.
Yeah.
Like, no problem. And, the first time we got on the phone and we, just interacted and talked and, like I just told her how special I thought that she was because she was special like way back then.
Right.
And just continuing just to, even from that first conversation, so humble, so sweet. Although she has self-awareness, she doesn't see herself how everyone else sees her. So it was really easy to, kind of, I guess, mentor her in a way and just be there for her because she was a sponge. And it's not always like that when you have a player of her, caliber and talent. So as special as she is, Juju is very easy.
That's good. That's good. Earlier you mentioned, raising your son.
Yeah.
And he's graduating from high school and now he's going to Georgia Tech. Yes. I mean, I know he's got to be so proud of you and your accomplishments, but being a mom who is seeing their child now go off to Georgia Tech, like what are some of the things that you have advised him of? What are some of the things that you said, hey, here are some of the things you need to look for? And just let's talk about your son a little bit here.
Well, like Dylan kind of indirectly had a very special experience, just growing up around the WNBA and like all his players,
and powerful women.
100%.
Yes.
We look back then and, Dylan was, I think, a little over, he was about 6 months the first time that we went overseas. My teammates were Tisha Pinachero, Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird, Lauren Jackson. So here he is, 6-7 months old, and he's hanging out in the back of the bus with Sue and Diana. For the longest time, they were like his best friends. So we're going to the Olympics, we're playing abroad, we're traveling all over the country. And those are the guys that he's like hanging out with and having relationships. So he looks back and, at his journey, as a little boy and a basketball player. And there's pictures of him sitting on the lap of Sue Bird at an all-star game, on the court with Diana Taurasi and Barbara Turner and like, all of my friends and like my teammates. And they had such a big influence and impact on him because of just who they were like naturally, so he's getting to experience all these examples and seeing like all this greatness, and so much of it there didn't need to be words because with him they were just like, his friends or his buddies or just women that loved him and looked after him and enjoyed kind of having time with him. And as he continued to grow, it's not easy kind of having a mom that has accomplished so much and, people have expectations of him, not based on his journey, but like based on mine. So the thing that we just kind of talked about most was just like his discipline. I wanted to make sure that he loved it and that he was doing it for himself and not because I did it. And there was a time where we sat down and I was just like, look, I don't want you to play basketball because I did. I don't have any expectations. Like, I've worked really hard. You've seen it. We're going to be okay. You don't have to feel like you have any pressure to go to the NBA and take care of your mom. I'm like, I enjoy my living just fine. I don't need a new house. Like, I don't need a new car. I don't need anything. Right. Like, you play this game, you know, for the love and for you. And then it was also like, you know, this AAU stuff is expensive.
Right.
So if you're not serious, we can take this thing to the Boys and Girls Club or the YMCA, you know, and he just kind of went away and he thought about it. And then he came back and he's like, Mom, I love it. And this is what I want to do. And, you know, I'm going to show you better than I can tell you. And he did, you know, started working just on his own, getting up, going to the workouts, planning out his week. And then it let me know that he was serious. So it was easy to kind of get behind him. And then as he just got older, you know, we talk about the company that you keep, you know, how you show up, how you approach those people that you are supposed to respect without even a thought, you know, like you're a representation of not just yourself, but your family. And what you do, the things that you say, how you go about things, they carry weight, whether you're just being yourself and finding your way or finding your journey, you're attached to someone. And he got it, you know, it wasn't really, really hard. And, you know, we're still having the conversation about girls, but that's a constant in process.
Yes. You know what, to all the mothers out there and fathers, you know, think about this as a parent when you have a young, talented, aspiring son or daughter, to allow them to find their way, because there's already enough pressures on them in life, period. So I think that's a great nugget for everyone to understand when you are raising children. But I had a chance to watch you just a little while ago embrace Alicia Clark. And I think people need to understand that you can breathe life into people. And you can bring a level of you belong here, you deserve to be here, and you did that for Alicia Clark.
I did not, you know the totality of Alicia's story until just one day. Just had a conversation. Alicia was one of the hardest working players on our team, and she spent the most time in the gym. I knew it because that was my process. Show up early, leave late, and she was there. So, you know, one time she just happened to be in the gym and she was in there like shooting and no one was in there, you know, no one else was in there. Our ball kids and everybody had gone home. So I was like leaving because I was getting treatment and I was like, you want me to rebound for you? And she was looking like, what? I was like, yeah, like I'll rebound for you. Like, this is kind of like what we do, you know? So she was shooting around and, you know, for people that are not really familiar with Alicia's game, you know, in college, she was like a 4. Yeah. You know, she played, Tennessee, you know. So she was, you know, played like inside, but in the WNBA, she's a little undersized, even as tough as she is. So she was developing her 3-point shot, you know, and her face-up game. So, you know, when I was rebounding for her, I then just started kind of giving her advice, and then it just turned into a routine for us. So as the closer, you know, we got, and I got to know her and, you know, her family, and she's just telling me about her journey, she shared with me this kind of process that she was going through in training camp, where she would not unpack her bags. So even though she was like in an apartment, every time she went to dress or whatever, she was taking stuff out of the bag, because her experience up until that point was that she was getting cut. So it was easy for her to stay ready to leave than embrace staying. So I was like, wow, you know, that was so powerful in the sense that like, that is never an experience that I had, but I understood, but I also recognized that she deserved to be here and how much she wanted to be here, that she didn't expect to be here, but it's something that she wanted and she was willing to do whatever to get it. So I just kind of took her under my wing, and I'm like, you know, you belong here. You know, it's not going to be an easy journey, and everyone looks different. So focus on your race. Don't look at my process. Don't look at Sue's process.
Right.
Don't look at Tanisha's process. Like, focus on your own. And she did that. And I thought she made our team pretty easily. So we go through that year, and, you know, at the end of the year, no one else knew the story except for probably me and her family. So then I kind of shared it, you know, during my retirement, and kind of, you know, talking to each one of my teammates. And I just told her to unpack her bag, because she was a significant member of this league. And if she continued to approach the game the way that she has up until this point, she'll be here for a really long time. So to see her now, being like, I think she's like the second or third eldest player in the WNBA.
We call them seasoned. Seasoned. She's seasoned.
She's mature. Is amazing. Yeah. It's amazing. And she's still in excellent shape and still contributing in a big way. And that just makes my heart like so happy.
Yes, and you know what you can see? You can see the you pouring into her. You can see what she's doing with our rookies, and how she's passing that, hey, you belong here, also to a Kate Martin. I see Asia Wilson doing that on a day-to-day basis. Asia. And it's so important for us to have, I'm going to say, the stars, right? The ones who play the most minutes, the ones who are going to be headline, to let the ones who may not be as recognized or in demand, to let them know that you are valued, you're just 100%. As important, and your presence here is why you do what you do. Yeah. So 4 consecutive world championships, and let's just talk about what that took to do that. But more importantly, here with the Aces under Becky Hammond's leadership, she also came in, got 2 world championships. Yep. Now the team is trying to go for a three-peat. But what are the challenges that you had faced in order to overcome those challenges to win 4 in a row? Now we're trying to win 3 here.
Well, most people will assume that like the second or the third or the fourth is the easiest because team chemistry and you've been together for a while. They are the hardest. So I'm sure that the women of the Aces could attest to this, that number 1 was probably the easiest. Number 2 was even harder than that. Number 3, which is definitely possible, will be even harder than that, because you honestly get everyone's best game. And most players or teams will not admit it, but there's a difference in how you show up, how you prepare, how you approach the game mentally and physically every time you're facing the defending champs. And it's not just in the WNBA, it's in the NBA, it's in the NFL. It's just the reality of just how sports work. So to see it is amazing. I absolutely and totally believe records are made to be broken. If the Aces get an opportunity to experience that and do it again, I say do it as long as you can.
Right.
Because I wish our core group would have stayed together long enough for us to win more than 4, because I totally thought that it was possible. So be greedy. Right. You know, win as many as you can, because the reality of how hard it is to do it, there's a chance that you don't get another try.
Right.
You know, you don't, because you're literally setting the blueprint and you're setting the stage to give everyone not just the example to see what winning looks like, but how you get to those winning ways. Because at this point, everyone in the league is chasing the formula, the style, the talent that you all have in order to compete against you. Super teams are now being created to beat the Las Vegas Aces. So not only is it just wanting to beat the best team in the league, we're changing the look, the style of the WNBA in itself. People will try to say that we were a super team or the first. We weren't. Most people don't know in that first year the Houston Comets weren't even picked to make the playoffs, let alone win a championship. So we were overlooked greatly. And we took that as a challenge. And then it worked out in our favor because we knew what we had. But to say that teams are changing what they look like, who they are, and adding in order to beat me, this is pretty cool.
And that can be taken as a compliment to some degree,
absolutely
right?
Should be taken as a compliment, but also as a challenge. Game on.
I just want to say it has been an absolute honor having you here.
Thank you.
If we could make you an honorary member of the Las Vegas Aces, we would.
You know, yes. I don't have a franchise anymore.
I know.
So
I know. I mean,
I wouldn't mind being adopted.
I mean, I didn't know if you wanted to get back out there and suit up. Let me know.
No, I'm definitely not trying to do those workouts ever again. But I love what you guys are doing here. It is amazing. The experience my son and I had today was top tier. It was elite. Asia is one of my favorites. I just absolutely love her and just how she's giving herself to the game, but also to this franchise and her teammates. She's extremely special. So I love just seeing her growth and her embracing being, you know, the face of this league and also growing with it, you know, because each year she gets better. And she gets better. And that's how you become legendary in this league. And she's not very far off.
No, she's not. But you know what? She knows whose shoulders she is standing on.
She absolutely does.
And she recognizes. And we always talk about game recognized game. So she recognized the contribution that you have made to the game for them to be here today.
She's special.
Yes.
She is.
So are you.
Thank you.
So, oh my goodness. But thank you again for joining us. We absolutely appreciate. We love what you have meant to so many of us. And we are going to continue to tell your story in order for the future to be brighter. And then we're going to be wishing, I guess I'm going to be cheering for Georgia Tech now with Dylan over there.
Yes.
So we'll be cheering him on. So
please.
All right, we will do that. All right.
Nikki, thank you. You are doing an amazing job. And I'm just really proud of what you guys are doing here because you're setting an example for the rest of the league and a bar for everyone to kind of reach for. And if all of our franchises could just work to get to this level, then the league in general is going to be in a very safe place.
Yes. Well, I'm very fortunate. I mean, we've got an owner in Mark Davis who believes in these women. He believes in the WNBA. He believes in elevating and uplifting us. And I get to do what I love. And I work with some unbelievable people, and obviously you win with people. And again, anytime that you're back here, we would love to have you at a game. I know the crowd went crazy when we announced that you were in the building. So again, I'm still trying to figure out this honorary, alumni member or something. But Tina, thank you so much for being here today with us.
Thank you. And I'll be back whenever you guys will have me. This was great. Thank you.
Okay. Tina Thompson, one of the greatest basketball players, but more important, one of the greatest people that you're going to ever meet. So thank you for sharing your story. Again, we wish Dylan much success at Georgia Tech. We're going to be following his career, and then we're going to keep tabs on you too as well. So thank you for being here.
Thank you.